The modern-day Democratic Party is a robber baron.
But I don't think it's going to take prosecutions. I think it's going to take deportations.
You think about the American families who actually need this social safety net, and the money isn't there because it's being stolen by foreigners or imported to this country. It's a travesty.
It's gotten to a point where it is bankrupting a nation. It just is.
Yeah.
And like, unless you can face facts, there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat.
I've worked at Coca-Cola for 21 years.
We're delivering Dr. Pepper from our brand new facility in Dallas, Texas.
We're really proud to still make Pepsi products in America.
You don't need a college degree to work here, but I put 4 kids through college by working here.
This is a great place to work with great people and great American brands.
Grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants, they all depend on us.
We deliver great paying jobs.
We deliver beverages people love.
We deliver for our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Good Tuesday to you. Welcome back to the Ruthless Variety Program. I am Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook, left to right across your radio dial as we wind up a big 2025. Exciting news here from the Ruthless Variety Program. We're going to have maybe another endeavor. I think what we should do, fellas, just judging by the news, is open up some kind of a daycare. Some kind of one of you're probably the best suited to
Here's
to
what
do
I'm
that.
saying is, like, you think about what has created the most wealth over the past 5 years. People are like, oh, has it been like crypto or AI? Nope. Actually, just like zero occupancy daycares or like generational wealth building.
That's how you make money in your sleep.
It's
That's
incredible.
it. So, of course, what we're referring to is the Somali daycare situation that has now come to an acute point with the reporting from Nick Shirley, where he basically went door to door on a whole bunch of places that were listed by the state of Minnesota as receiving millions of dollars for their daycares. They didn't have any children.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him. He basically did what 30 or 40 years ago would be referred to as journalism, where you just knock on doors and ask questions.
Dude, what he is doing is journalism. And everybody who is saying, oh, journalism is dead, oh, there's no path forward for the media. Like, this guy is the path forward for the media. This guy is the path forward for journalism. This guy is doing everything that the major broadcast networks refuse to do over and over again. And here he is putting out 42 minutes of content that has been viewed more than any other video on Twitter to date.
Yeah, there's that great line out of The Big Short. Like, how did Michael Burry get, to know that this financial crisis was coming and that all these mortgages were fraudulent? He read them.
Yeah, right.
And that's what Nick has sort of done, I think, to the journalism industry, is instead of just reading what other people are writing, he actually went there and knocked on the door.
And like,
that's how you really figure out the system is fraudulent.
I mean, I have so many observations to make, not the least of which it does seem like a good line of work to be in. I mean, me without my headdress here, I don't know that I could get into that line of work. But it appears as though this has gone unchecked for years. Consider for a moment that we had a vice presidential nominee with 120 days of being at the top of a ticket where everybody should be. I mean, we found out that he didn't coach a football team. He wasn't in Tiananmen Square. That he was like putting tampons in high school bathroom. We found out all that stuff. We didn't, nobody decided to take a look at the state budget. Nobody was like, oh man, maybe there's $8 billion worth of fraud that is going into communities that are purporting to service the hungry and the children of those communities that never got a dime. That just got shipped to fucking Mogadishu.
It's unbelievable, because the people who are like put on a pedestal as the journalists in our society were more interested in helping Kamala win and that guy be her number 2 than they were in actually telling the story that's behind everything on this guy. Like, he's the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. And what I fear is, and we've talked about this a little bit pre-show, what I fear is that we've got a fine point on this because of the community in focus and just how egregious this is. and people like Nick Shirley doing good homework to show you exactly what's happening. My fear is that this is in every state in the union.
Yep.
It may look a little different in different communities, but I think this is going to be something you're going to see everywhere. And anytime you dump $6 trillion into an economy and say, oh, you guys manage it, this is the kind of thing that comes out of it. And so would I be surprised? There was a thing about Ohio that you surfaced today, Smug, in communities there. I think you can go to almost any state in the union and have this exact same thing, in particular in inner city areas where, you know, I mean, you could take people at face value and they want to help the underprivileged people, and this is why they do whatever they do. But increasingly, you see this entrenched Democratic establishment that is basically there to ask no questions whatsoever. It's like, if you start discussing whether or not money actually makes it to the homeless, to the hungry, to the children of those communities, well, you're a racist.
It's basically the modern definition of corruption. It's how the left has now figured this isn't corruption. This isn't a waste of taxpayer money. This is how you get the votes. This is, I will show up to this group of people at their event. I will say, I stand with your community, not saying I stand with Americans. I will stand with X demographic or nationality or whatever. And if I help channel money your way, you deliver the votes to me. And they accept this. They've championed it. They're totally fine with it. We saw the video of that like Minneapolis mayor who counted on
Jacob Fry.
Yeah, his like wedge is like, well, there's warring Ethiopian or Somali clans. It's like a clash of clans is going to be his election plan. And it worked. So like they are so cynical and indifferent towards hardworking Americans who have their money taken from them every year. And you're told by the government, what you do is, with this money we take from you, it will go to make this a better country. But now everyone is seeing that's not what's happening here at all. It's essentially just being stolen from us by a bunch of scammers who are laughing at us.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the Democrat process of how they get elected.
Right. We all bear the cost. Everybody on this show, everybody listening to this show pays taxes into a system like you were talking about where you feel like, okay, well, I'm paying taxes in. It's more than I want to pay. But you got to hope that it's being doled out in the way it should be. I mean, that's part of the bargain that you have. And what we're learning here is it's being stolen. And so we aren't the only victims here. Josh hit on this a second ago. I mean, there are people who depend on Medicaid. My own wife started a very small nonprofit to help families with adults who have disabilities. They've grown out of the high school and they like always operated under the assumption that Medicaid was going to have some sort of jobs program or something for their children who are now adults with disabilities, because that's the promise that Medicaid claims to people. And what she has found is that in reality, people are just sitting on a waiting list for years and years and years and years. And it's like, oh, the Medicaid help never really comes. And I didn't understand that until I started hearing some of these stories about the people who are stealing money from Medicaid. And so you think about the American families who actually need this social safety net, and the money isn't there because it's being stolen by foreigners who are imported to this country. It's a travesty, and I really hope that not only there are prosecutions, but there's actually like a fix to this system so that the people who need these resources are actually able to access them.
And that's, to me, like, I don't want to get black-pilled or too cynical about this, but I don't think it's going to take prosecutions. I think it's going to take deportations.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't want for some Somalian guy to get convicted in Minneapolis and then have the like Soros judge be like, time served, back on the streets with him. I want these people put on planes and sent back. Because we can't, it's sad, we can't trust our own judges in this country to execute the rule of law.
It's a really good point. And I think, look, I mean, you could be pissed off because you're sending half of your shit to the federal government that turns around and doles out this cash and never pays attention to where it goes. And, You've got these communities of first generation, sometimes illegal immigrants that see that as their role to try to scam the government because that's like the culture that they grew up in. That's what they do. But if that doesn't piss you off, consider the fact that we're $37 trillion in debt and it's imperiling the American economy itself.
Right.
And the fact that your bond ratings are jeopardized by that, by the strength of the American dollar and what you can buy is jeopardized by that. The existence of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security threatened by all of that. And I'm not saying that those programs in and of itself would be changed irreconcilably by making sure that we root out all the fraud, but it's sure as a great place to start. And when you learn about this stuff and then the utter indifference of people who claim to be the saviors of the poor, they are the ones who are most focused on the impoverished and the immigrant communities and the children of this country. And that's everything that they talk about all day, every day. And then they're surprisingly not concerned at all about the fact that we've stolen all of their money.
Oh, you're exactly right, dude.
And that tells you everything you need to know about where the partisanship lines are. The modern day Democratic Party is a robber baron. They are what they are. They rely on a group of votes that they subject these people to saying that you are entirely reliant upon the federal government. I'm just going to keep the gravy train rolling. You guys figure it out once it gets there. And there's, 4 or 5 head honchos that dole it out into their community. But what I expect in the end is that you keep checking the D box.
Bingo.
Right? And that is nationwide. That's not just in North Minneapolis. That's not just in Ohio. That is a nationwide proposition that they have executed since the 60s. And it's gotten to a point where it is bankrupting a nation. It just is.
Yep.
And unless you can face facts, there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat.
No.
There just isn't.
No.
Nope, there is not.
Because they are all bought in to a system that fundamentally doesn't ask questions about whether they are fairly representing the constituencies that they say that they represent.
Right. A moderate Democrat that does not exist, but a moderate Democrat would be all over this problem.
They would be all over
the
it.
fraud.
It never would have taken Nick Shirley.
Right.
It never would have taken the great reporting that's been done up to this point to try to get it, or the FBI showing up or anybody else, because they'd have been policing their own. They're like, oh my gosh, there's fraud. These people are stealing money from people who actually are the intended beneficiaries of the billions of dollars of largesse that we all collectively have decided needed to go to them.
Right.
And they're stealing it, and they know it.
Right.
They know it. Like Tim Walsh shows up and he's like, yeah, we do a lot to root out fraud. Do you? Do you?
He's full of shit.
You don't. You don't. You can't have the entire budget is $13 billion. He had fucking 8 on his own watch that just went out the back door. And he's like, I don't know. Yeah, we're prosecuting. Oh, are you?
I was seeing so many tweets, especially from Florida, of people who are like, I run a daycare, and every 30 or 90 days, someone from the state comes and visits and checks who all is here, what all is going on. I need to monitor everything. This has been going on for years in Minnesota, and it is with the consent of all the elected officials that this system's allowed to continue. The one that had that Learing Center, the one who can't spell learning correctly, had 98 violations, but the checks still show up.
Let's get to the clip because you'll see all this. This is the setup of everything we're talking about in clip 1.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said Learing. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working, midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing, and like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
I mean, all right, so this is the tip of the iceberg, right? This is what he uses to introduce, and he goes to just like a ton of these different places. But like, you can't be a farmer in Minnesota and put a seed in the ground without the EPA, the Department of Agriculture, all these other things making sure that you're doing your business right? Because you make $1 out of that. But if you are this operation, entirely dependent upon government taxpayer dollars, you can't even walk up and check out the sign and say, like, I don't know, something that's supposed to be a learning center should probably spell learning right.
I don't see a playground there either.
Like, how many visits? How many visits? And zero, obviously, because the first time you showed up, you'd be like, oh, well, they're obviously not learning a lot.
Right. And as I was watching his whole video that he'd done on this, it's tremendous how again and again and again he visits these places. It's the same story. No kids are present. It's the middle of the day, and this place gets $2 million a year. This place gets this many million. None of them are actually operational. But the folks that you would see pop up and pop out of there would like call the police and be like, this is racism. This is harassment. They've learned from the left, this is what you do is if you say racism, then Americans are supposed to be terrified and let you to go about your business of robbing this country blind.
It's the cheat code for fraud.
That's it.
In America, parents call the shots for their families, not bureaucrats. But the so-called App Store Accountability Act puts your child at risk. This bill requires app stores to collect children's sensitive personal data while taking away power from parents over how their child's data is handled by tech companies. Parents should get to decide if their child's age is shared with apps, not politicians. Parents should attest to their kids' ages, not turn over birth certificates to tech companies. Congress, don't put kids at greater risk online and box parents out of making decisions for their families. Tell your lawmaker to put parents first. There are better ways to keep kids safe. NetChoice is dedicated to making the internet safe for free expression and free enterprise. Learn more at netchoice.org/keep app stores safe.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at empowerourfuturecoalition.com.
Our good friends at Fox News put a little compilation together of all the stuff that he did in clip 2.
We've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. I would like to check a child in the daycare. Why? Can I speak to the manager? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare?
You got $2.66 million this year in funding and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
They locked the door.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it. That's it. It's so infuriating.
You want to get your blood boiling.
Yeah, it is so infuriating.
It's incredible. But at the same time, you've got a governor who was on the vice presidential ticket, a national profile, for a matter of months. Everybody knows this guy's name. You know, damn near 70 million people cast a ballot for this asshole. And he's got a huge profile. What has he been up to on this? Look at graphic 1 for a second. This is Minnesota's economy doesn't work without child care providers, so we're giving them a raise.
Well, they've earned it.
Well, but again,
my God,
you work back the math on this stuff, right? I mean, that sentence, if you're just a pure politician, a progressive politician,
sounds like a basic thing to say.
You're like, yep, I would think our child care providers do deserve a raise. At the same time, you realize that there are thousands of child care providers that don't have a single fucking child in it who you're also giving a raise, and you never did the math on that? You never? Before giving them a raise, you didn't figure out how you could reappropriate the money that went in pure fraud to an entire community?
And that's the thing is, like I've said it before, is that saying of like, a system does what it's designed to do. The question is, do you understand what the purpose of the system is?
Yes.
So like he's like, yeah, they deserve a raise. He doesn't see it as, I want to see, is this group of people that we provide money to, are they getting better outcomes for the kids? Are kids getting better educations, better outcomes? Have we seen some data that makes me think if we allocate more money here, it's going to be even better for kids? No. He knows if I put money here, I get votes out of it, and that's what I'm aiming for.
This is the Tammany Hall, Huey Long, Daily Chicago, old school shit that a lot of people have cast ballots to try to undo in generations since the beginning of the federal government becoming a primary funder of many state activities. And it has been a thing where the most corrupt amongst us in the early days of America would appoint people to like the Port Authority, for example, where they could tax people on the way in and way out. It just goes into their pocket. That's what this is all about. And these people have built an entire political machine off of guaranteeing bulk payments to state and localities that they then give to communities who obviously don't have to do a damn thing for it, but the inference is just keep coming back.
Well, I mean,
keep sending me back.
That's how the Biden EPA, tells Stacey Abrams to open a bank account.
Bingo.
And there's going to be $1 billion in there to put in convection ovens into Section 8 housing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's amazing.
It isn't just like daycares or healthcare or whatever.
It's everything.
It's everything. It's DEI. It's the green scam. All of these left-wing cottage industries that exist around the Democratic Party are just like you said. It's Tammany Hall.
It doesn't matter how many bean counters you put in charge. I mean, you saw what happened to Elon Musk. He tried to do Doge for 5 months. They basically burned down Tesla. And ran him out of D.C. to the point of complete frustration because they were trying to curb the international spending that we have, which, by the way...
This has a component of that as well.
This is the same thing.
A really fascinating thing, after this Nick Shirley expose came out on X, were people digging up, other reporters who had discussed stuff like this, and it goes back years, almost a decade. You can find like local media stories from I think a Fox affiliate in Minneapolis talking about suitcases full of millions of dollars working their way through MSP.
Yeah.
On their way back over to the Middle East.
Yep.
And sort of drawing attention to this fact that there are millions and millions of dollars leaving the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport every year in suitcases from people who live in the Middle East. And it sort of asked the question, what are we doing about this? And I think at one point it referenced one prosecution. Clearly, they didn't do enough.
That's not it, right?
Right.
I mean, if the end of all of this is 8 people that are the ringleaders of this situation go to prison, I don't give a shit about that at all. It doesn't matter to me at all. Like, the community that gives rise to it is the issue. The fact that this is permitted at all, if there's nobody in the community, and I don't blame somebody who's impoverished who's trying to figure out how to make this work, and the only thing that they see coming their way is somebody who's just like doing the crimes. Like, they're not obviously to blame, but the culture that surrounds it.
I think they got to go.
I agree.
I think we can't be like, you know what, if you're poor, you don't know any better, they got to go. You got to go. If you're not from here and you're stealing American money, and the reason it's so pervasive, like when he opens the door and he's like, I want to sign my kid up for daycare, and the lady's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Daycare.
It says fucking daycare.
Yeah. The fact that it's so blatant and obvious and pervasive means word has spread so widely among the community that like this is the easiest money you will ever make. These people are so dumb. This is so easily exploited.
You want a perfect example of that? Clip 3.
Blatant this fraud is here at this daycare. Don't open up! So this is Quality Learing Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said
Listen to that voice in the
spelled
background.
learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million?
Steal from me.
$4 million over the
It's
last
ice.
2 years.
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in favor? Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know
You're
where
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am,
She looks
you're
like a
not.
nice lady.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
Dude.
And she's got to go too. She's got to go too.
So that I guess that's the point. Is like at some point they're insulated entirely from any sort of community action against what it is that they're doing by bozos like this.
Right.
Who are they are in the parking lot accosting the guy doing the journalism to say, like, you just paid $2 million for something that doesn't actually exist. And she's like, no, you're ice. You got to get out of here, in her horn-rimmed glasses. And I hate.
She loves the fraud.
Loves it.
Loves it.
Right. And the other thing is, and we talk about this all the time in different contexts, and I won't bring up that context right now, but you don't go from 0 to $8 billion in fraud on your first time.
No.
Right. This has been going on for years. The context that we always bring up is much funnier. It has to do with
DPs.
Yeah.
Nobody ever sends their first dick pic and gets caught for it.
Exactly.
It's been something
It's
a tried and
they did it before. You don't just do it the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a tried and tested move. Is the point?
Right.
I think you're making.
You don't just go from 0 to 8 billion out of nowhere.
What an incredible analogy.
It's true. It's true. These politicians who get caught, it's not their first time.
And I think that, so speaking,
You get a little fast and loose over time, and that's why you get caught.
The politician thing, I think, is the key component of it. Is I think there's a lot of frustration.
Not the first
There's
time.
a lot of anger. Like, you're seeing how conservatives are reacting to this. There's a lot of rage where they're like, all we're going to get out of this is some tweets and some angrily worded letters, and nothing's going to happen.
Right. We'll
They're
weather
like-
this storm.
they're like-
we'll get away with it just like we have every other time before.
This
Or
is
we'll
another
consolidate
day
it
that,
to
like-
North Minneapolis, and we won't have to worry about it in Chicago and in Columbus and Cleveland and all across the United States. Like, that's basically what the fraudsters
But
are
even then, it's like, days that have gone by where Democrats are held accountable for all the crimes they're doing openly. It's like, still waiting. And there's a lot of, and I think correctly, built up, pent up resentment of what is it going to take? Because we are openly,
Well,
this
it's a
is the
great
most
point. What is it gonna
open
take?
fraud that we have elected officials all the way up to Tim Walz championing this for years.
Well, they're still saying like, no, we're on top of all of this. This is being politicized by the right.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like, this is not going to take, like, we get like 20, 30 Somali guys in handcuffs. Will you guys leave us alone now? No. There's going to have to be dire consequences. There's going to have to be politicians locked up, because other politicians need to see, wait a minute, I thought this is just a system. Because, like you said, like, this is absolutely happening in California. This is absolutely happening in Europe. This is like how blue states operate.
It is, and part of my point about how this isn't the first time, you don't go from 0 to 8 billion without some infrastructure underneath it to get you to that point. The media, the legacy media, is a part of this. I want to read you a headline from The Hill on this situation. They wrote, MAGA World zeroes in on Minnesota over fraud scandal. MAGA World. So it's conservatives pounce on fraud.
Well, the Star Tribune did something, the local newspaper, that said, basically excused the whole thing and said the actual fraud doesn't begin to come close. This is before the Nick Shirley thing. Begin to come close to the claims as Republicans pounce, basically. And it's an insulation, and they know it, and they're using it. And it works out pretty well for them. This administration is doing something. Remember, we had DeReamer on, the Secretary of Labor, who talked about how, this is before the Nick Shirley stuff, how they were surging a whole bunch of Department of Labor folks in there to try to look at this exact same thing. You saw over the weekend the FBI director say basically the same thing from their standpoint. So they're doing, I guess the point that we're making is like, you arrest 8 guys, I don't give a shit. I really don't. Like, it needs to be a wholesale
We got to stop
situation.
it. Stop the problem from happening.
And it's also an immigration policy issue. It's a city management issue. It's an assimilation issue.
Yep.
It's an American issue. Like, if we're going to begin to just import third world countries into this country and act like it's 1939, which it's not,
Right.
then you're going to have to check up on that situation to make sure that you've got an assimilation component to it where people understand that it is against the law to steal taxpayer dollars.
In many other cultures outside of the West, and particularly the United States, it's not seen as corruption. It's just part of
That's
their
just
culture.
part of their deal.
It's like, it is not bad to get over on others and use those connections, illegal or legal, to gain advantage over others.
And they've adopted, the federal government of this country has adopted a frictionless importation system of communities across this globe. In that, well, I don't know, in Dearborn, Michigan, we already have 20,000 of them. What's another 20,000? No problem. So now all of a sudden you've created like ISIS in the Midwest, where they're like flying ISIS flags. And Democrats now who rely on their votes are like, it's a Michigan problem. We can't have a Jewish guy on the ballot because those people are going to vote again. Instead of thinking about the fact that, like, you as a political, nationwide political party have to make a decision about who represents your political party based on their religion as a result of a swing state importing 150,000 people who want death to America. Like, that is the logic that we're dealing with today's Democratic Party. There are no moderates. There are no moderates.
Not one.
This is what they have adopted. There is a reason why they are not upset. There is a reason why they are not concerned, why they want to turn the page, why they say MAGA does this. Republicans do that. Republicans pounce. $8 billion. And it's a Republican pounce story? No, dude. Even the New York Times couldn't go that far.
Right.
Even the New York Times was like, yeah, it seems like it's a thing. And yet, here they are, Tim Walz, we're on top of it. They're promoting this stuff. And we're all over it. Fuck these people. It's unbelievable.
Dude, the media is one of the worst actors in this, and not limited to just this particular situation, but an aside on the media that's related to the Christmas season. I want to read you a headline from Politico Europe. Okay, on the Republicans, conservatives pounce. You got to hear this. Far-right parties are claiming the festive season as their own, recasting Christmas as a marker of Christian civilization that is under threat and positioning themselves as its last line of defense against a supposedly hostile and secular left. This is a headline from Politico.
What is that?
What the hell is that?
Do you know how many knots you have to twist yourself in to get that headline?
Get out of here. How about Christmas is celebrated? Like, under what circumstances would you write a sentence like this? First of all, it's tortured.
But that's the thing. It's like
tortured.
That's the thing is
Run
the
on
media is
sentence.
concerned with that kind of bullshit.
Right.
And modern journalism is a bunch of failures sitting in their apartments in Brooklyn pontificating on how like Christian is white or Christmas is white supremacist or some stupid shit like that. Meanwhile, you found some kid from YouTube who goes door to door and uncovers tens, hundreds of millions of dollars being stolen from taxpayers.
Right.
That's the state of journalism.
He's the real journalist right now.
Yeah, totally. So this is what the administration is doing about it. So we're not leaving you in the darkest of places. 3A. That's the Department of Homeland Security. And they're walking in.
Are you guys associated to the business next door? No. You know when the last time someone's been there? I see it's locked up and closed, but we had. No? Have you seen anybody come and go from there?
Yesterday I was working in Jordan. I go around, so yesterday I was not here. Okay. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Okay.
So they go into what, like a vape shop or something
It's
like that?
the place next door.
And they're like, you know.
When's the last time you saw somebody over
Anybody
here?
at that daycare
They're like,
next
I don't
door?
know, I wasn't here yesterday.
Seems locked up.
God bless it. While the Minnesota fraud is probably the biggest Democratic failure of 2025, there are a lot of other noteworthy failures. When we come back, we're going to explore a lot more of these things that we've had some yucks about, but also just it just paints a picture of where these people are at. You know, like Republicans, you have a tendency of taking a look at your own. You're like, yeah, we're not exactly where we want to be. And then you look where the Democrats are and the approval rating that Harry Enten keeps tweeting out from CNN, and you understand why they're in the teens. How bad the Democratic Party is when you see what we have right after this. Okay, so, you know, look, we covered in the first segment how the Democrats have failed everybody in terms of their whole fraud thing and everything else. They're not alone on that. It started very early on this last year about what it is that they claimed would happen or could happen because of Trump administration policies and this, that, and the other. I think the governor of Wisconsin deserves some special note here. Clip 5.
I believe that in Wisconsin, our ability to keep our undocumented people working like they are now at a really high numbers in the state of Wisconsin, if he takes that to a improper end, our economy will be gone.
Gone. Our economy will be gone.
Yeah, nobody's going to buy cheese anymore.
So what he's saying is any kind of deportation of illegal immigrants is going to ruin the Wisconsin economy, what I find most fascinating about that is he's flanked by a bunch of civil rights leaders, not understanding the irony of modern-day slavery in many ways, bobbleheading along with the idea that Wisconsin in and of itself, and every Democrat believes the same thing, has to pay below a living wage to a bunch of people who don't belong here in order to keep their economy going.
He was like, the thing with all these undocumented workers, it's a peculiar institution, but I think it's one that our economy is dependent on. Thank you for your time.
Nice.
And he just looks like the worst. I mean,
he's who you'd expect. It's heartbreaking to see these Midwestern states that have governors like that clown and Tim Walz, and things just get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, and everybody's surprised. Here's another one. This one we got a kick out of. This was several months ago. Elizabeth Warren had a less than a gymnastics routine in the United States Senate. Clip 6. There she is. She's walking on. You see her in front in the teal.
Senators voting in the affirmative.
Your customary Native American.
Rochester,
she's trying to lean on the desk.
Yeah. Down it goes.
Everybody's going to check on her.
There, she's up. She's up.
Kim, King, Klobuchar.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah. No, the worst thing that could happen to the Senate is communism gets a broken hip. You can't abide.
So good. Jazzy Jazz, one of our absolute favorites here on the Variety program, Jasmine Crockett, a newly minted candidate for the United States Senate in the great state of Texas, in Clip 7.
And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president.
Don't want to get into the crime statistics, do we?
It's always incredible. It's always incredible. Like, the demand for white supremacy always far outstrips supply.
Yeah.
Like, this has been year after year after year, the Democrats are like, this is the #1 issue that we're facing in America.
I got to say, I mean, the thing I love about her most is her confidence.
Oh, totally.
Her totally misplaced confidence. She's like, no, Google this thing I'm about to just completely make up.
Yeah, and if one Google, and you're like, well, none of that
was true. None of that was true. And she's like, nah.
She's like, there was
It's true.
a Epstein, just not the Epstein. It's like she always thinks she's done something when all she's done is just show everyone how incredibly stupid she is.
Well, and then she pretends like she's just like, F. Lee Bailey, because she's like, I'm an attorney and I pick my words very carefully. And what she did there was the most violent. I don't know how she characterizes the most violent, but whatever that is, I'm sure she's got an argument for what the most violent, and there's like 2 versus 1.
Wait, she's not even saying she's not even saying white people. She's saying white supremacists.
Yeah.
They commit 80% of the most violent crimes in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
yeah. Well. Yeah.
But again, it's to perpetuate this idea that white supremacy is run rampant throughout this country and that everybody is a victim of white supremacy on the downstream of all of that, which is like fundamentally not true. But it is the way that Democrats run government, is that because it is a way of doing what we talked about in the first segment, which is if you question where the money is going, then you, sir, are a white supremacist.
Exactly.
And it codifies the entire argument about who's the victim and who's the perpetrator here in a way that is fundamentally just untrue.
It's just a label to slander and establish. It's a system of control. The same way that like you saw that like deranged lady being like, "Don't open up, it's ICE here," because she's been conditioned to believe that, oh no, you're not a white supremacist. You're one of the good people if you do what we want.
Can you imagine?
If you're a deranged idiot like that, you're one of the good people. You're not a white supremacist. So they've like programmed their supporters into thinking you have to do what we want or else you're a white supremacist.
Nick Shirley released this over the holidays, so I don't think the Dem machine is fully organized yet with all that PTO, you know. But I have to think
Kwanzaa and such.
Yeah, right. I saw that Newsom clip of them.
Wasn't that classic?
Sincerely celebrating
That was
Kwanzaa.
like he's like, oh man, I just want to give a
the
heartfelt
fake holiday invented in the '60s by a Marxist radical.
Radical was in prison.
Yeah. But can you imagine the horrible things they're going to say about Nick Shirley?
No, I mean, this kid's got it coming.
So
he's invited on this program, by the way, anytime. It was a short notice deal. We sent an invite out, and I understand why he can't. I'm sure he's got 1,000 things going on, but welcome to come in anytime because the stuff he's doing is more important than anybody that calls themselves a journalist these days. The next clip, we can't get enough of this. Kamala, she was talking about the VP process, trying to roll out her book, and stepped in absolute dog shit. Clip 8.
It made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk. No matter how, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part, but
no. Just the American people are so
we had
homophobic.
such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And the stakes were so high. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant. And I think America is and would be ready for that.
Except you didn't take him.
But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go.
2 weeks to go on what?
And maybe I was being too cautious. I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that.
Well, yeah.
Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made. And I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
With a great deal of sadness.
Sadness and candor.
Also, the fact that it might have been a risk.
Dude, we have been a country for 250 years now. And I'm sure there have been a lot of idiots nominated who we've read about in history books but didn't have the full picture of how dumb they were. There is no way I would ever be persuaded that she is not the stupidest person to ever be nominated as a major party candidate for president. No way. You can't convince me.
There's something remarkable about, straight up saying, I didn't pick the gay guy to be my VP, Pete Buttigieg, because... we only had so much time. We only had so much time.
When I was worried about the gay thing.
Worried about the
and then
whole
also
gay
telling
thing.
it to Rachel, not being like, I'm on your show. I first want to preface because you're gay, Rachel. So
I'm an ally.
You know I'm an ally,
hero,
right? I'm
hero
a total
and an
ally.
ally.
I'm a hero and an ally, but when it counts, I'm a coward.
Dude, and that's like 8,000 words to describe why it is that she didn't. And here it is. It's she had a few weeks to pick a nominee. She didn't want the Jewish guy because of the Michigan problem. She didn't want the gay guy because, I don't know, maybe people don't like gays.
And then she was like, but America's ready for it. But also, I couldn't take that risk. Like,
I'm a champion of it,
I
though.
think the real risk is he's way more talented than she is.
I think
way
that's
more.
probably right.
Which is, of course, part of the calculation.
Right.
Probably was for Shapiro, too, to be honest.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, they would have carried Pennsylvania with Shapiro.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows that.
Right.
And they didn't put him on the ticket, took a real risk by taking somebody who was that was never going to be in play with a guy like Tim Walz instead of the guy because of the Michigan problem. It's a Michigan problem. That's you create ISIS in Dearborn, and all of a sudden you do have a problem.
What
no
an
question
idiot.
about
No
it.
wonder the Somalis think that it's so easy to take advantage of our
Exactly, dude.
country. She's at the top of the country.
She
and
was the
everybody's
one.
like, oh, well, if she can do it, I guess I can steal $8 billion.
She's the one minding the till.
Right.
They're like, I got to get around that.
Right.
I mean, if you look at our FEC report, it puts this whole fraud scheme in Minnesota to shame.
It does.
Dude, and honestly, there needs to be like, those helpful seminars on how to help your elderly parents like work through financial scams and whatnot. People need to do that to the Democratic Party writ large. Like if you sent Kamala Harris more than $1,000, you're hereby enrolled in this webinar that's going to talk to you about scammers.
Yeah.
And their ability to steal from you. I feel like it's necessary. There's another one. This lady, I still don't really know who she is. Apparently she's a member of Congress or something. Clip 9.
I've been told I have 30 seconds, so I am going to tell you that we do have to. I don't swear in public very well,
But I'm gonna do it.
We have to fuck Trump.
That'll show him.
Please don't tell my children that.
So while this guy's pinning her knees behind her ears, waiting for Donald J. Trump. That's what she said. I didn't say it.
It was like
she said it.
It's on tape.
It was like mixed cheering, confused cheering. People being like, "Wait, what?" Like, yes, there's only one way to beat him.
You can't.
If you can't beat him, fuck him.
Oh, man, it's so
not
funny.
Not his type, lady.
How is it real?
I don't think that salt and pepper hairdo is going to do the trick.
How
to
is
be
it?
honest.
How is it real?
Listen, we got a great interview. So Jayme Franklin has been a friend of the program for quite some time. She's got a bunch of different projects going on. You know her from the Conservateur, and now she's got Sincerely American, a new podcast, which we like a lot. They are good friends. You're going to see in a lot of them. I think that they're like expanding everything, and we look forward to doing more things with them in the future. Enjoy Jayme Franklin. Want to welcome to the program a good friend, somebody we've gotten to know here over the last couple of years. You've probably known her and seen her new podcast, which I'm told is quite a hit.
So good.
The co-host of Sincerely American, Jayme Franklin. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here, you guys.
It's
You guys
great
are
to
the
see you.
best.
Oh.
I appreciate it.
Very kind of you. This is fun. We've been wanting to do this for a little bit. You bring, a perspective that 4 dudes don't.
We have some guys that love the pod. They like to know how women are thinking our age.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you find that creepy or no?
No, I think it's good. We talk to like the guys sometimes. We'll be like, and guys, you should know, this is what girls want in the relationship. So it's like their research. I like it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. All right. So before we get into that project, because I want to know everything about it, like tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you grew up, how you got into politics, like what's the career trajectory. You've done a lot in a small amount of time.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. So I grew up in Northern California. I was born in San Francisco, and then I grew up in the Bay Area. Not really known to be very conservative.
Yeah.
And no one
it was
would.
you and Wolf.
Yeah.
I think we're basically it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. You're a Californian?
Yeah, he is.
Amazing.
He is. And a Marine, too. So you don't see a lot of that in San Francisco either.
And I joke, I'm like, my parents fled socialism, aka Canada.
Got it.
But my dad actually, he truly moved. He grew up during the Reagan time, and he moved to the U.S. because he wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he just thought America's the greatest country on earth, and he was really lucky to get an opportunity out in San Francisco area. And so I was born there, and my dad was a small business owner my whole life, and so he kind of always talked to me about politics. He told me why he was, at the time he couldn't vote for, actually it was funny, Trump was both my dad and my mom and my first vote in
You're
2016.
kidding?
Yeah.
Really?
So they had just
Incredible.
become citizens right before, and then I just turned 18 right before
No
Trump's
way.
2016 election.
That's great. So where in Canada were they from originally?
My dad's from Alberta,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is like the Texas.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can
Yeah.
understand where there's some conservative
Yeah.
overlap there.
They do not like Justin Trudeau in particular
Yeah,
out there.
they have a real it's a problem politically for them. Yeah.
And then my mom's from Toronto, but what's really funny is my dad's always been conservative. My mom was like apolitical, I feel like most of her life, but loved Trump, and now she's like lecturing my dad that he's like a rhino. Or whatever. And my dad's like, I was conservative before all you people. So she went hardcore. But anyway, long story short, I ended up going to UC Berkeley in 2016, and people were like, Jayme, did you know? I knew it was going to be liberal, but I went 2 months in is when Trump was elected. So then it just like blew up there. Like, I'm sure you guys remember that news cycle of like the Milo protest. You know, we skipped school the day after the election because everybody was grieving. And I went to an all-girls super Catholic school ran by nuns, where I met my co-founder for the Conservatoire, Isabel. She ended up going off to Texas and had a much different college experience than me.
Got it.
I was just like, when I went to Cal, I was just like, what is going on here? And it's funny because like I grew up, you know, Christian. My parents like love America, like, you know, I'm white, obviously, and I would just be on this campus, like, these people just hate everything that I am.
Everything you are.
And I was just interested all the time, like, why do you think the way that you do? And I always joke, I have a very contrarian personality, so maybe if I went to an uber conservative school, it might have been different.
Yeah.
But I was like, and just people there, the number one thing, I feel like I took for granted my faith when I was at Catholic school, having to go to Mass 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a very godless place. That was the first thing that stood out to me, and that people were just miserable in general. And so I would say that my experience at Cal, especially with the dating culture in particular, and just like seeing this uber feminism, like Brett Kavanaugh was a big thing when I was at Cal, like believe all woman. And I just saw so much of it's like just a cultural zeitgeist there of just like extreme leftism. And I'm like, this is just making people miserable. And then, long story short, I actually wanted to go into fashion. I was like, there is no place for me at Vogue. A lot of you guys know, like, I wanted to be like a journalist, like Devil Wears Prada. You know, everyone grew up my age. And a lot of guys don't know just how far left this, like, woman's magazine.
I want to get into that.
Yeah. Like,
no question.
Yeah. And so
So
I was
you're like, okay, well, I can't probably. That's
Yeah.
not going to be a perfect fit.
No. And then Isabel, my co-founder, was working in D.C. I came and visited her. I'm like, wow, I want to do this. Ended up working on the Hill one summer as an internship. Then I graduated Cal and went and worked on the Trump campaign where I met my husband. Then went over to the White House and I launched the Conservatoire. This is actually really funny. Summer of 2020, because my parents would not let me do the Conservatoire when I was at Cal for like truly safety reasons, which, by the way, they've been really correct because look at obviously what happened with Charlie.
Kidding.
So
yeah.
It was dangerous to be on these campuses and speaking just mainstream conservative beliefs, nothing crazy. We launched 3 days before George Floyd. So if you can imagine the backlash that we got.
Oh, man.
You guys, it was off the charts. Basically, everyone I knew at Cal like turned against me. People were like posting that I was a white supremacist and not. I grew up in Northern California. They were like putting me in front of the Confederate flag, like photoshopping me. Right. I literally should send you guys some of these things because I still have them saved. I'm like, this is insane. So anyway, I was at the low, just so much hate constantly. Yeah. And then, you know, look where I feel like the audience that we built today, where we have over 300,000 women that follow us that just love what we do. And it's just really a story. If you stand by truth, and like I think Clarence Thomas said it best, like north is always north. Even if there's fogs, north is still north. And just standing firm in what you believe in, it always pays off in the end.
So explain to our listeners and viewers, like why did you launch Conservatoire? Where did you feel like there was a hole in the marketplace there in that sort of fashion world that you wanted to get into?
Yeah, so if you look at, you know, Vogue, Cosmopolitan, you look at the #1 podcast for women is Call Her Daddy. There is just no space for conservative women. And, you know, it's kind of almost cliche to say now, but like Melania didn't get a cover on Vogue.
Yeah, amazing, right?
And she's like the most beautiful woman of all time, our most beautiful first lady.
And she was on the cover many times before that she was associated with any of the political side.
Exactly. And like I remember my senior year at Cal, which actually really ended up sparking this, like AOC got a huge thing in Vogue magazine, you know, this beautiful fashion-y spread that's
Michelle
so great.
Obama.
Yeah, so inspirational.
Right.
And I look at these feminists and I'm like, you guys are a bunch of hypocrites because they are only pro-woman if you're a liberal-leaning progressive woman. And, you know, as much as the politics did matter to me, you know, obviously I supported President Trump. I ended up working in his administration. For me, it's more of the cultural things I saw so many issues with. And, you know, I ended up getting married at 23. I had my daughter at 24. And so this has only grown for me, my passion for just saying, like, how amazing family life is for women. And you're seeing there is an attack, especially on young woman that marriage is oppressive, motherhood is oppressive, you know, have your mimosa brunches and work in an office for the rest of your life, and, you know, don't have kids, and and just live in a city and live for yourself in a very narcissistic way. And, you know, there's a real attack on America, on the church. And which is why I think we've seen with men and women, you know, young men, people are very interested in Gen Z right now, and Gen Z men are going more and more right, and Gen Z women are going more and more left. And I think because in the conservative movement, we don't do a good enough job talking to young women about cultural issues. And I really just, what I say at the end of the day, the Conservatoire is all about encouraging women to look their best, to be their best, be the best in their career, be the best mom they can be the best wife you can be the best friend you can be.
Role models.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's really an empowering message at the end of the day. And you know, even if, I always say this, you don't have to vote for Donald Trump to come and read our stuff. I think we have, or watch our podcast. We have very common sense topics that we talk about that I think a lot of people could get on board with. And so I'm like hoping to be building bridges with the other side.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that sets you guys apart from the rest is friendship. You know, you have relationships with your pals who you're doing this with that go back years. And it's not just like a marriage of convenience. Oh, we need to do a show. Find somebody.
We need a blonde and a brunette.
Exactly.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Exactly. These are real friends who you've lived life with over time, and I think that really comes through to an audience. That's the sort of authenticity people are looking for. And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about, you know, sort of the birth of the Conservatoire on that front, and then the birth of Sincerely American on that front.
Of course, I love that you brought that up, because truly we are all best friends. And it's, you know, a lot of people are like, don't do business with friends. And I guess maybe in some respects that can be hard for some people.
I mean, we're totally screwed.
Worked out for us.
Yeah.
That's the case. Yeah.
I think if you're good people, it can work out. And I think you guys are a testament to that. The Conservatoire and Sincerely American are. And Isabel and I met, she was 1 year below me. She was my little ring sister in high school. So we met when we were like 14 years old.
Wow.
It's incredible.
And it's so great. We've just grown up together, and just watching us go through all these different seasons of life has just been spectacular. And I'm so thankful for that. And I really look back at Santa Catalina was my school I went to, and I'm so thankful for the friendships I got there. And then Cameron, which is really cool, I met in the White House. So this was back in 2020. And we immediately just became like sisters like this. And we always joke, like, Sincerely American is basically our FaceTimes that we have every day. Because I know you guys have wives. We talk on the phone. No, men are like, why? What are you guys talking about all day long?
Right.
But we're like, we need to just, I feel like everyone says that, but I'm like, we need to do a podcast about this, because there's a lot of funny things we go over. And I think it's resonated with a lot of girls. They're really liking what we do. And I think you're right. The friendship is a huge component of that, because it's just so warm, and it was just easy right off the bat.
Yeah, it's just a natural conversation, which, of course, I mean, this is what podcasting is. If you can't have a authentic, natural conversation with somebody, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to force it, the audience knows it.
Right.
100%.
I want to ask you, just because, I mean, look, you're married young, you have a child young, you're a mom, you've got fashion interests, political interests, like an accelerated pace, right, for what most young women go through. Is that difficult in that you've got undoubtedly a ton of peers that, I mean, you just look around D.C., for example, and everybody on Capitol Hill, it seems like people are older when they're getting married. They're older when they're having families in comparison to our parents' generation, for example. Is that a challenge?
Well, I always joke I'm a teen mom in DC. I use that joke a lot of times.
No, it's kind of true,
no,
right?
Like, people, I think, I'm actually not making this up. People a lot of times think I'm Vivian's nanny. Because I think, like, DC, it's fun. I'm from the San Francisco area and also live in DC, which are the two, I think it's like the average age of women having kids for the first time is like 34 in some places in DC.
Probably, yep.
And, you know, I will not lie. I'm not one of those people that, like, is like coming on, you need to have kids at this age or this age. Like, I do think it's most important you meet the right person and it happens. And you know, there's pros to having kids really young. There's also pros to, you know, being a little bit more developed in your career. But I do think in this age where a lot of people are dealing with, like, infertility issues, if you can have kids young and you meet that right person, don't wait. I tell all my friends that. But in respects to my career, I hate the message that, oh, when you have kids, your life is over. Because my career has only gotten better since I became a mom.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at.
It boosts you in a way, and I feel like I'm so much more intentional about every time I take outside of the house, because I am a stay-at-home mom that's making it work, and I'm really thankful. My husband is very supportive of me. My family is so supportive of me. Like, I have to give a huge shout out to my dad. He's like helped me so much with everything that he's always believed in me from the beginning, even when everyone was hating me online. But I think I hate that message towards women, because I think the data bears out with both men and women that you can become more successful.
Well, because the left views all of this as zero sum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can either have a career or you can have a family.
Yeah.
Right. And what I think is lost in that, and it's what you bring, I think, a lot to this conversation, is like, being a good mom can make you good at your career. 100%. Like, these things can feed each other in sort of a virtuous cycle of like how you build a career.
And I'll say this too, we talk a lot in the age about the digital age, social media, and all of the downfalls. I was on Fox yesterday talking about, we need age verification for young kids and stuff, and there's a lot of bad things that have come with the internet. I will say, though, the positive thing that's come, and I'm a testament to this, is that stay-at-home moms can build a whole career from home now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I can do so much from home between naps and all, it's great being in the media, because I work actually really like funny hours, where I'll do like a Fox and Friends hit, for example, at 5 a.m. sometimes.
You're working around the schedule.
Yeah. And then I'll do Trace's show at like 11 p.m. and that works really. I put Vivian down to bed and then I'm off to the studio. But you can do it from home now. And so I built, the Conservateur through social media, and it's been great to be able to do that. I'll laugh, like Vivian will be like in the back of like a work Zoom and stuff, saying hi as well. She like joins in, but that's the era that we live in. So that has been a really big positive, I think, for women. And I just never let anything hold you back. Like, if you really want something, you can make it happen. I really believe that.
And there are so many girls out there who are looking for that sort of, role model in the media, because you see the opposite with what the mainstream and legacy press is feeding.
Johnny's got 3 daughters.
Yeah,
by the way,
I get 3
so
girls.
He speaks from experience.
I do, and my oldest is like, oh, Dad, Brett Cooper. She seems so normal. She's got all of these things that she's saying, and like what you guys are doing. Like, we do the best we can, but we're just we're bros talking to bros, right?
Yeah. We have limitations.
There's a lot that we just don't understand, and I feel like what you guys are doing fills such an important role in the marketplace. And I'm just, thinking ahead. Here we are right before the new year. We're looking ahead to 2026. Everybody's doing their New Year's resolutions. I just wonder what Sincerely American and everything else you're working on in Conservateur, what do you guys have planned for 2026?
Oh my gosh, we have a lot planned. One, I want to do a lot more events, because we've done a few events so far, and the girls just love it, and the guys love it as well, because a lot of these single guys are like dying to meet a conservative woman, because we're not as easy to come by.
Maybe we can do like a mixer.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We'll bring the bros.
We'll bring the bros.
So we want to do a ton more events. We want to get more people together. We're really excited. We have some great profiles coming up, because conservative women who, like, example, Brooke Rollins, who's a good family friend of Drake and I. She is a fantastic woman who's an incredible role model, but she would never get that feature. And or like a Susie Wiles or a Caroline Levitt, who we absolutely love.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
We've done a profile of her. We've done a profile of Laura Trump. Just these women who are spectacular and never get their due. And I've been I think all of us can agree with this. When Charlie was assassinated, I feel like it really sparked that, and I think this is what he would have wanted, for us to go, okay, we need to work harder than ever now to, carry on his legacy. And I don't think anyone can, take that role as Charlie Kirk, but I hope that the Conservateur can at least be a small piece of that to carry on his legacy, especially for young women, because the work that he did to change young men is just my brothers are younger than me, and I've just even seen it with them in their peer group. And so I hope to even be like a tenth of what he's done for young women that we can do for what he's done for young men that we can do for young women.
Yeah. Well, you're well on your way. You're a busy gal. In addition to being a mom and a great wife and everything else, I mean, you guys have projects going all the time. We should throw a party with this.
We should do that.
Yeah, we should definitely do a Ruthless, Conservateur, Sincerely American party.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be so fun. I feel like our audiences would like really get along well.
They would. They would. That is awesome.
We could make some marriages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll let our creativity work from here. Listen, Jayme, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for coming in here.
Of course.
And look forward to a whole bunch of different opportunities. And we're going to follow you guys closely at Sincerely American to see what all you're up to next year.
Well, I'm so thankful to be here, and you guys are great. I just love what you guys are doing, and you guys have just had such a spectacular year, and so I'm honored to be here on the pod.
Very fun. Thanks again.
I mean, what a great interview. She's obviously been all over Fox. Like you said before we threw to it, Josh, you're going to see a lot more of her and everything else that they're producing over the next year, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept because, I mean, she's right in that my wife used to complain for years before we had kids and whatnot. My wife's super into fashion and whatnot, but she would complain for years when she had time for all of that. And she would get like the Glamour magazine, the Vanity Fairs, and the this, that, and the other thing. That she's like, why is it half full of left-wing propaganda before I can see like what's in style for the next? And so we always used to laugh for like a decade about how incredibly overtaken women's magazines have become by the left wing. And they sought to do something about it, which I give them a hats off to.
Got to.
I mean, that's look, it's not easy to try to establish a marketplace, but I think these gals are doing everything they can. So we encourage you to listen to all of them and give them a like and subscribe because I think they're doing great work. With that, fellas, I'm looking around here, and I think we did it.
Yeah, absolute banger of an episode, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Jayme Franklin, and thank you to the listeners. Remember, if you have not yet, go to our YouTube, hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Thursday. Stay ruthless.